Hi. Everybody has had the very uncomfortable and often embarrassing experience of having been caught with their pants around their ankles. The thing is, usually pants around ankles are preceded by mistakes in judgment, mistakes in execution, and often there's not a single mistake, but a whole series of smaller ones that precipitates that airy and uncomfortable outcome. I'm Greg Hain of the Hain Coaching Group. This podcast is about helping you prevent those experiences, and in it, I'm going to answer questions you've asked, questions that you haven't asked but should have, and otherwise share some ideas that are designed to keep those pants of yours buckled firmly around your waist. So let's see what I've come up with for today. If you're like me, there have probably been times in your life, maybe in your business life, no, not maybe, in your business life and in your personal life, where you've wanted to make some changes. You've got some goals that you wanted to set. You've got some things that you were striving for. And so you really didn't know how to get there, which is probably a sign it's a worthwhile endeavor. And so you read about it, and maybe you hire a consultant or you watch some videos online, again, read books or articles, and then you get the ideas about how to go about it, and you go apply these ideas, and it doesn't work. Ever happen? And, often this takes some time. In my first business endeavor as a commercial roofing contractor, I did it for 14 years or 12 years or whatever before I decided it didn't work. Why? Because I'm standing there after having invested over a decade of my life. Not fun. Pants around ankles, for sure, okay? So what was the mistake that I made? What are the mistakes that you're making that cause this to occur? So to give you an idea of this, I have a quote I want to read by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm going to read this so I'm sure I get it right. As to methods, there may be a million and then some, but principles are few. The man who grasps principles can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries methods ignoring principles is sure to have trouble. So, as most of you know, I work with primarily with commercial and residential roofing contractors. But what I'm sharing here applies to anyone. But in my industry, there is a company that is very generous about allowing other contractors to come into their office and see how they do certain aspects of their business operations because they're really good at it. And so these contractors come in from all over the country to see what this company does. They do this, they do this, they do this, they do this, and they go back to their offices and they apply those things and they don't get the same results. Because all they're doing is applying methods. When they go to visit this contractor, they're not asking, what are your principles? They're not saying, how do you think about this? How do you look at this? How do you philosophically approach all this and gather the principles that have led to the methods? Because the reality, this contractor, he will have a certain method he will be applying, and the next year he might be applying a completely different method. In some cases, it almost looks like the opposite, and they both work because he's applying them based on his principles. So what are your principles? If you've got a challenge that you're facing, are you just scrounging about looking for try this, try that? That's the hard way. Figure out what the principles that you need to have that you can apply in a situation. Now, this is hard work. I have principles like you cannot remove darkness from a room. You can only add light. Another principle might be honest, have integrity. And of course, those things are things like honesty and integrity. Those are permission to play. So everybody claims those. Nobody walks up to you and says, well, I'm so crooked, when I die, they're going to have to screw me on the ground. So, what are the principles that you need that you can apply to make the methods work?